The forest was a dream of silver fog, wrapped in the quiet glow of a pale blue sky. A small figure moved through the haze, a child with silver hair and bright emerald eyes. Her name was Liora, and her steps were light, careful not to disturb the soft moss underfoot. The air hummed with a strange, low energy. Then, a whisper found her, carried on the wind. Liora. It was her name, spoken softly, intimately. She spun around, her eyes wide. "Who's there?" she called out, but only the mist answered, swirling around her ankles. Just as she turned back, a new wonder appeared. Faint footprints of light bloomed on the ground before her, tiny and glowing, pulsing in a soft rhythm like a distant heartbeat. "They're leading somewhere," she murmured, a thrill of curiosity overriding her fear. She followed them deeper into the trees. From the gnarled bark of ancient oaks, eyes seemed to glimmer, watching her pass. She could feel their gaze, a silent, ancient awareness. "Are you watching me?" she whispered to the woods, half afraid, half enchanted. As if in answer, a shower of glowing seeds drifted down from the high branches. They floated in shimmering clouds of gold and silver, circling her like curious fireflies. "They're so beautiful," she breathed, reaching out a tentative hand. "But are you alive?" The air around her hummed a little louder, the rhythm shifting into something like a lullaby. Her gaze fell upon an ancient moss-covered stone. When she placed her palm against it, she could feel the same vibration, the same gentle tune. "You hum like a lullaby," she said, a faint smile touching her lips. The melody felt familiar, a half-forgotten memory from a time she couldn't quite place. The path of light led her to the edge of a still lake, its surface glowing with a faint, ethereal blue. She knelt at the water's edge and stared at her reflection. But when she tilted her head, the face in the water didn't move. It simply stared back. "Are you me?" she whispered. "Or something else?" The reflection smiled, a slow, knowing smile that was not her own. Liora gasped and scrambled back. Just then, soft petals began to drift down from unseen blossoms, landing on the water and forming a floating path across the lake. She hesitated, then touched a toe to the nearest petal. "It feels warm," she murmured, stepping carefully from one to the next. The petals glowed brighter under her feet, welcoming her to the other side. There, nestled among the massive roots of giant trees, were tiny lantern houses, their lights flickering in a slow, rhythmic pulse, as if they were breathing. She knew they held the answer. "You know where the voice is, don't you?" she asked them. The lanterns tilted in unison, and one glowed brighter than the rest, pointing her toward a narrow path. A fragile bridge made of glowing chains stretched across a chasm filled with mist. "Don't look down, Liora," she told herself, her breath fogging the air as she crossed, one slow step at a time. Delicate birds made of glass fluttered past, their wings chiming like tiny bells. But then she noticed her shadow. It moved without her, taking a step forward while she stood perfectly still. It paused, then vanished entirely. A small wooden door, carved with a smiling face, creaked open on its own. "That's not creepy at all," she muttered, stepping inside. The room hummed with echoes. Every sound she made repeated back to her in a whisper. Shelves of ancient books lined the walls, and one by one, they opened, their pages fluttering like wings. Through a tall window, she saw 2 moons in the sky. One blue, one gold. 2 moons. 2 worlds, she wondered. A rocking chair swayed in the corner, empty. Then she heard it. A soft, distant melody drifting through the walls. The lullaby from the stone. That song, she whispered, her eyes shining. I remember it now. A rocking chair moves on its own, a gentle rhythmic creak filling the silence. Were you sitting there, waiting? Her voice cracks as a faint melody reaches her ears, a lullaby she once knew, buried deep in her heart. Tears gather in her eyes. That song, I remember it. She glances down and finds a dusty picture frame on the floor. Inside, 2 children smile back at her. One of them is her. That's me and you, she whispers, the pieces of the puzzle finally starting to click into place. Whispers now swirl through the corridor like wind. Please, one at a time, she pleads, her head spinning. The very walls seem to breathe and shift. The leaves on strange, twisted trees tick like clocks. Time's slower here. Suddenly, the forest turns silent, so quiet she can hear her own heartbeat. Floating tears of light rise around her, shimmering in the gloom. Are they memories? 2 glowing paths appear ahead, one dark, one bright. Left feels sad, right feels safe, she decides, following the path of light. The fog parts to reveal a forgotten playground. The swings move by themselves, and the faint sound of laughter echoes in the air. We used to play here, she whispers, a wave of nostalgia washing over her. A shadow forms behind her, taller, softer, and achingly familiar. Who's there? She asks, turning around, her voice trembling. But the shadow only mirrors her movements, a silent companion. The air flickers red and blue as a sudden panic grips her. She starts to run, shouting into the strange world. I'm not afraid. She bursts through a door glowing with the light of memory, and a blinding light fills the space. Inside stands a glowing spirit child, the other figure from the photo. Liora trembles. You're still here, she breathes. The spirit smiles and begins to hum the lullaby. Liora hums along, tears glimmering on her cheeks. I remember your song, she says, and they slowly embrace, their bodies dissolving into a swirl of light. The mist fades into gold. Sunlight seeps through the trees, the glass birds flutter away, and a gentle warmth returns to the forest. Morning, I made it, Liora sighs, a small smile on her face as she stands in the golden light. A gentle breeze carries one last whisper. Thank you, Liora. She turns toward the sound, but sees only petals drifting in the light. Humming the lullaby, she walks down the golden path toward home. At the hilltop, she stops, looking back one last time at the forest, now bathed in a peaceful silver mist. Goodbye, she whispers softly, and the light closes around her, like the end of a beautiful dream. Thank you so much for joining Liora on her journey. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more magical adventures. We'll see you in the next one. Moral of the story. Sometimes the things that scare us the most are the memories we've tried to forget. But when we face them, we find that fear turns into understanding, and sadness turns into peace. Liora's journey reminds us that letting go doesn't mean losing. It means setting our heart free to remember with love instead of pain.